Hello my loves and welcome back to another video. If you're new around here, my name's Heather. I'm a mum to two little boys, Harlow who is 3 and Atlas who is 1. And today I'm going to be talking to you all about cloth nappies, why I love them and how to get started, some of my tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way. When I first came across cloth nappies, Harlow was pretty much out of them and I didn't really get into them until I had Atlas, and we used them from when he was born. We still are now and I absolutely adore them. I would never go back. They're so much simpler than I think a lot of people realise, and part of that is just navigating through all the noise, all of the information that's out there that can feel really overwhelming. I definitely felt this, and that's the aim of this video, is to try and cut through some of that and just give you some of the things that I think are really important when getting started with cloth nappies. Obviously they're a lot kinder to the environment and a lot more sustainable, but they're also a lot kinder to baby's skin. There are usually a lot more natural materials, so I love that as well. I love the prints, I love everything about them. And I just want to spread that with as many people as I can. One of the best ways to get started, and I wish I'd taken advantage of this, I don't know why I felt a little bit like scared to do this, but that is to find your local cloth nappy library. These are designed to help you. They're there for you to be able to hire out kits of different types of nappies for you to try before you buy. So it's a really affordable way to, test them before you invest, and you're not wasting money that way on things that aren't going to work for you. You can really figure out what works for you and your baby. I know that some of the small businesses I've bought cloth nappies from online as well do hire kits. So you just pay like a small fee and you get to hire them for a couple of weeks, really get used to them, really, figure it out. And I think this is such a good idea for getting started. Cloth nappies are a lot more cost efficient in the long run, but that upfront cost of getting a full kit can be into the hundreds. So another affordable little tip is to buy pre-loved nappies. There are some groups on Facebook. I know people sell really good quality nappies through Facebook, through Vinted as well, and they do last so well that you're still getting a really good nappy for a lot less of the price. So definitely look into that if that's a concern for you. So some of the different types of cloth nappies I will go through now. The first that I'm going to mention is my favourite, makes up most of our stash, and that is flat nappies. When I first found out about cloth nappies, this was the option. I was like, never am I going to do that. That's too overwhelming. That's too much faffing around. I'm just not interested. And these are the types of nappies that back in the day, like our grandparents would have had. They're the flat pieces of like terry or cotton, the boosters and the liners, and you fold them up and then put a waterproof wrap around the top. And although that sounds like it would be more expensive, it's actually a really affordable option. And I love them. Usually you get a lot less leaks. I found with these type, you can adjust the absorbency a little bit better to fit your baby as they grow or whatever it is. I just love them. They last a lot longer, they dry a lot quicker, and they're really not as complicated as you may think. So just keep an open mind when it comes to different types of nappies, and the expensive ones aren't always the best ones. And flat nappies are definitely the more affordable option. Then sort of in the middle, you've got pocket nappies, which are a little bit more like a disposable nappy in the way that it looks like the outer shell, the waterproof bit, with a fleecy liner inside, and then you put the boosters inside the pocket. And they come out completely for like drying and stuff like that. They're a really good option. Then you've got all-in-ones, which are basically just what they say. The booster is stitched into the nappy, so they go inside the pocket, but it's all in one. And I have got a few of these in my stash. They are a lot pricier, usually around £13 a nappy, and if you need 20 or more, you can figure out that can get quite pricey quite quickly. I find as well that they're not always as absorbent as some of the other options, and they take a lot longer to dry. So we don't have many of these in our collection, but definitely I know that some people swear by them and their whole collection is just made up of all-in-ones. So like I said, it's just figuring out what works for you. and for your budget. And if you're a little bit unsure, then don't feel afraid to reach out to other cloth nappy accounts on Instagram, or friends that you've made that use cloth nappies, because most of them are so lovely in my experience and are really happy to help. I'm part of a few groups where I've, you know, questioned like my fit, got like a fit check on there, or, you know, queries about adding absorbency for nighttime and things like that. Yeah, I would definitely reach out to friends and online connections that you make if you need some help. That's one of the perks of this community, is that everyone, in my experience, has been really friendly and really helpful. So definitely don't feel afraid to reach out for some advice. Another thing I will say about different types of nappies is that most of them will say birth to potty. So, you know, from newborn up until your baby is potty training. But I don't think that's as literal as some people think it is. I had really small babies. Atlas wasn't even £6, I think it was like 5'13", so they just didn't fit him, they were too big. And you can get newborn size nappies, specifically newborn size. Some people don't bother because if they've had a bigger baby, they're not going to be in them long enough to justify the cost. Or we did a little bit of both, so we had a few newborn wraps and used them as much as we could. But I didn't want to buy a whole stash of newborn ones for them to be out of them. And he was in them for quite a while because he was quite little. So it's just, yeah, it's up to you. If you are a first time mum, first time round, there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I'm going to use disposables for the first couple of months while I'm getting my hang of being a mum and, you know, navigating through all the stresses and the overwhelm that you can feel. And then once you feel like you found your feet a little bit and you've got your birth to potty collection, your stash ready to go, once they start to fit, then you're away and just don't worry about it. But yeah, that can work really well for some people. That's one of the reasons I love flat nappies, because a big bulky booster isn't really needed for a newborn because you have to change them so much. They're not going to soak through the same that, you know, an 18-month-old would. So you can just use a flat nappy, fold it smaller, and that's sometimes enough absorbency for a couple of hours. Or you just add a small booster in, things like that. There's different things you can do for newborns, but that's definitely something to bear in mind, especially if you have smaller babies like I did. One of the next things that I know puts people off is dealing with solids. And before your baby is weaned onto proper food, especially like breastfed babies, the whole thing, even if it's poo, can just go in the washing machine because it's water soluble, so you don't have to faff around. Once they go on to proper solid food, then you do have to just tip it away in the toilet. I know that the thought of this can put a lot of people off, but it's actually fine and you get used to it, and it's not as messy or as dirty as people think. It's not something I struggle with. You can get liners, like disposable liners, if you need to. So there's definitely ways around that, but yeah, don't feel put off by that because it's not something that many people usually have problems with. Moving on to washing now, of course this is a big important part of keeping your nappies clean and fresh, and the big thing is that you use enough detergent. I definitely didn't realise how much detergent you needed. So you just look at the hardness level of your water for your area, and you need to actually look on the side of the detergent box, and for like heavy soiling, use the full dose. And of course check with your brand of nappies that you're using. They all kind of have little different things they will say about washing, but most of the time it's just use the full amount of detergent, the longest cycle, you know, a hot long wash. And some people like to do a pre-rinse on, so like a quick rinse or a quick cycle, just to get rid of like most of the dirtiness in the nappies, and then do your full wash with your detergent as well. And once you get used to washing them, it's honestly not a problem. I wash mine every 2 to 3 days, and in between uses, obviously once you've got a dirty nappy, you can buy wet bags that you just store them in, so you don't have to, you know, have a wet water bucket that you put them in, don't soak them or anything like that. You just put them in the wet bags. It's the same sort of fabric as the shell of the nappy almost, like the waterproof bit, and they're usually really lovely prints, so you don't have to worry about that, and it's just so easy. And you just tip it into the machine, so you don't touch the nappies, you're not digging them out or anything like that. Yeah, it's something that is just a really simple part for me, and it's not something I really think about anymore. I just get on with it. If you do come across any stains, which can happen, as long as you can tell that they're clean and that you know that there's no smells or no, anything like that, you definitely wash them, they're definitely clean. Stains can just be cosmetic, right? So sunlight is actually the best thing for this. If it's, a sunny day, even if it's not that sunny, whack them outside on the line or lie them out, and this really works like a dream. Any stains, if you've got like stains on clothes, baby's clothes or anything, get it in the sun. My last big tip is don't put too much pressure on yourself. I sort of felt put off by the fact that you have to be all or nothing, you have to do it full time, every single nappy, or you might as well just not try, which just isn't true. I don't know why I felt like that, but part-time is better than nothing, and part-time is better than doing it full-time and burning out. So there are going to be times where sometimes you may need to lean on disposable nappies, use them once in a while, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even just one cloth nappy a day would make such a difference if everyone did it, for the full 2 years that your baby is in nappies. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. There are periods of life where you might be moving house, you might have a washing machine, or you might be on holiday, and it's totally okay to just give yourself a little break if you need to, and just do what's right for you. So I hope you found this video useful, helpful in any way. If there's any little tips in there you could take away, or if you've got any more questions, then please just reach out and let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video.